Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego here for a live stream. The last day of the month, October 31st, 2024. No more October. It's history. It's almost gone. And November will be here very soon. November, December, January, February, the green card K1 visa process speeds up. It goes a little faster. Can you imagine? It's almost November. Karina, my beautiful wife from Venezuela, has been in the United States almost for a year. It won't be long before she's applying for her 10-year green card. Now, remember, I don't give you any legal advice. I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't charge anything for giving you all this information. I don't work for USCIS or the State Department, and I definitely don't work for any of those companies that charge you lots and lots of money to process a simple green card application or a K1 visa. It's easy to do. You don't need to pay anybody to do this. It's not hard to do. You just got to be patient. You just got to be calm. You just got to take your time, okay, with the process. That's all you got to do. If you can read and write, if you know how to spell, you can process a green card application and you can fill out a K1 visa. That's how, it's not hard. Now, I'm doing a live stream here for you. It's 11:24 a.m. Central Time, okay? A lot of you are probably getting ready for your trick-or-treating with the kiddies. I don't know. And there's Karina. I see Karina sneaking in the back of the house. She is going to feed Rambo, the outside cat. Look at that. Can you see right there? There she is. There she is. There's Karina feeding the outside cat. Now, Rambo, he keeps the yard clear of like mice and whatever critters live outside. He's our outside cat. And Vinny, Venezuela is his nickname, Vinny. He's our inside cat. And he was scratching at the door. He wants to come in and join me on the live stream, but I'm not going to get up now. I already got here. I got started. And Karina bought me this new shirt. She has this fantastic job with her, and she got her green card, and she got this beautiful job, and she bought me this beautiful shirt. Normally, I just wear black. But I'm going to answer your questions on green card applications, K1 visas. If you're here, if you're not here, if you're busy, if you're at work, or if you're not doing anything and you don't have time to come on the live stream, then don't come on the live stream. It's okay, no problem. It's not mandatory. But remember, everything I tell you is real. Everything I tell you will save your green card and your K1 visa from a possible denial, as long as you qualify for the benefit. Remember, a K1 visa application and a green card is a benefit. It's not a right. You don't have a right to come to this country, okay? Even if you're married to an American citizen, foreign nationals don't have a right to come to the United States. It's a benefit that the U.S. government put in place back in the 70s. And thank goodness they did, right? Or else we'd be all separated from our loved ones, or we'd be living overseas. Because I'm pretty sure most Americans would not want to be separated from their fiancés, and they would leave America and go live overseas and take their dollars with them. So the U.S. government doesn't want Americans to leave. So they created the K1 visa process back in the 70s, thanks to Vietnam veterans, okay? Now, I know it's early in the morning. It's 11:26 a.m. So it's 1:26. It's 12:26 in Miami, and it's going to be, let me see, 10. So it's about 10:26 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and 9:26 a.m. in California, Oregon, Washington State. So on the West Coast, I think they're like 3 hours behind. Now, very soon, we're going to do a time change. We're going to go back an hour. All the clocks are going to roll back 1 hour, which sucks because everybody gets tired and they're dragging their feet because they lose an hour of sleep. It's an insane idea. I don't know who invented it, but it's a stupid idea, and we need to get rid of it. Arizona's smart, okay? Now, if you live in Arizona, they don't have this time change, this 1 hour minus and plus. They just leave the time alone. They don't mess with it, okay? They don't mess with changing anything, and they're happy as a clam, okay? Other than the Navajos. Now, the Navajo Indians that live, the Native Americans that live in Arizona, they do participate in the time change when the clocks go back and when the clocks go forward. The Navajo Native Americans, they participate that live in Arizona. But the general population of Arizona do not change their clocks. So if you are a beneficiary moving to the United States on a K1, and I'm happy to hear it. If you're going to be living in Arizona or Hawaii, the good news is, or Puerto Rico or in Guam, the good news is they don't change the times in those places. But here in Florida, even though Senator Rubio tried to get it, he tried to fix this insane law. I don't think it made it through the Senate. I don't know what happened, but we still have to fall back an hour next week. So the live streams will be 1 hour earlier if you're living in a time zone that doesn't change the time, or if you're living in a foreign country where they don't mess with the time. Okay? When I lived in Colombia, they didn't do this stupid change of time. They just kept the time as it was. Hannah, first up to bat on the live stream. Hi, Diego. Okay, Hannah, I want to give you a Mountain Dew salute, okay? It's a brand new Mountain Dew. You get the first Mountain Dew salute for the day, okay? For October 31st, 2024. I got all these lights on me. I got a light over there, light here, light here, light. I got a light up there, and I got the hats here. So hopefully you can see me. Remember, I'm not a Hollywood star, but I learned how to do a YouTube channel. I learned how to put a YouTube channel together and how to set up all the lights and the technical. But Karina, she runs it, basically. But she's not here. She's out back with the cat, okay? And she's doing something around the house. Hannah, Diego, how much time for a spousal visa to be in the USA? 2 years or more? No, 16 months, 18 months. It's quicker to go through a K1. A spousal visa is about 16 to 18 months. A K1 is 12 to 13 months to get to America. But then you got to wait for the green card, okay? Let's suppose you're watching us from India. You're in India. You're in Mumbai, New Delhi, wherever you are in the beautiful country of India. It's going to take about 9 to 10 months, a maximum 12 months to get your K1 visa in your passport and then arrive in America. That's going from NOA 1, NOA 2, National Visa Center welcome letter, visa interview at the embassy, at the consulate in Mumbai, and then America, you get to the United States. Then it's going to take between 6 to 9 months to get the green card. Okay? So the K1 visa process, if you live in India, is about 13 months, let's say, and another 9. So that's what, 22 months. But 9 months of that 22 months, you are with your U.S. citizen sponsor. You're in America waiting for your green card. So it's not such a bad, stressful situation. But it's stressful because you're wondering, where's my green card? Where's my green card? Well, yeah, that's normal. But on a spousal visa, you would be back in India waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Okay, that's why I always recommend a K1 visa over a spousal visa. I highly recommend a K1 over a spousal. Hannah, so depending on the nationality, the time frame for a fiance or spousal visa depends on the country. Okay, the U.S. Embassy in Colombia, in Bogota, Colombia, they're getting a little faster now. They were slowing down and slowing down and slowing down because they were getting inundated with K1 visa approvals and lots of spousal visas. But now they're speeding up in Colombia, okay, because the workload is getting less and less so they can catch up. If you live in India, like I just mentioned, the process is about a year, let's say, to get the K1. 13 months, probably the max. If you live in Ghana, there's a long lead time. There's a long wait time. Ghana sucks. If you have a beneficiary in Ghana, the U.S. Embassy is slow in Accra, Ghana. They're slow. Let's put some pixie dust on the folks who are trying to get their visas who live in Ghana because the process is so slow. But that's the way it works. Hannah, because I got in the United States as a K1 visa holder, it took me 23 months to go to the USA. Yeah, it took 23 months. It took Karina 22 months or 23 months. 23 months for Karina. But that's because of the tail end of COVID. Remember that pandemic, that flu thing that went around the United States, around the world, and the United Nations decided that they wanted to try to shut down the whole world. because of this COVID. Um, and then California shut down the economy of California, basically bankrupted everybody, just about. A lot of people got, their companies went bankrupt because nobody could go out. They're locked in their homes by the governor of California. But now, that was in California. In Florida, we didn't lock anybody down. Nothing happened in Florida. I think for a little while. I mean, a couple of weeks, the governor closed everything, but then reopened everything. But COVID created a massive backlog of K-1 visa approvals getting adjudicated at embassies. And the embassies in Colombia, the embassy in Colombia closed, the embassy in India, or the consulate in India, Pakistan, Philippines, everybody closed. And then when they reopened, when they figured out that this COVID wasn't as this nightmare that they were claiming it to be at the United Nations, just my opinion, I'm not a doctor, but from what I can gather, it was not as dangerous as everybody was saying, unless you are very sick and you're very old or you have a pre-existing condition, then you could get badly sick. I don't know, but anyway, it's all gone. So what happens now is the embassies got caught up on the backlog. The National Visa Center got caught up on the backlog. The USCIS Service Center kept on processing K-1s. They didn't stop doing what they were doing, but they got backlogged at the NVC and the embassy. So people were getting their K-1 visas in 23 months, 25 months. One person waited 30 months. It was crazy. Okay, but that time has passed. Now things are getting much quicker. Hannah. So now again, I have to wait again for 2 new petitions: green card and work permit to get approved. That's correct. But you're in America with your loved one. Okay. If you were under a spousal visa, your prometida, your loved one would be in a foreign country waiting for the approval, not in the United States. Okay. The K-1 visa process is more expensive, but the thing is this: when you come to America, you're with your American citizen sponsor, you get to wait for your green card and work permit if you apply for it here in the United States. So yeah, it's a long time. 6 months, 9 months. It could be 9 months, could be 6 months, but you are together. The only drawback is you cannot work in America without a green card or a work permit. You just can't go to work. Don't do it. When you get your Social Security card in the mail, you still can't go to work. You cannot work on just a Social Security card. You got to have a work permit / green card, either or. The work permit is good for 5 years. Okay, you get the work permit, you look at it, hey, it's good for 5 years. Okay, the green card, when it comes in the mail, if you don't have to go to another interview, is good for 2 years, right? You all know that. It's a probationary. So let's suppose you've been married less than 2 years and you came to America on a CR1 spousal visa, that's a conditional residency 1, then your green card is only good for 2 years. Same for the K-1. Ahmed Ashraf, I-134 for both petitioner and joint sponsor is okay. If you are going through a K-1 visa application and you need a joint sponsor, which is okay. It's nothing bad if you need a joint sponsor. The joint sponsor and the petitioner, the American citizen sponsor, has to fill out an I-134 and sign it and date it. The beneficiary does not fill out an I-134. The beneficiary is the recipient of the K-1 visa. So the beneficiary does not have to fill out the I-134, nor does he or she have to sign it. Only the sponsor and or the joint sponsor. So let's say, okay, so you're coming to America, your beneficiaries, you're going to bring it to the United States and you need a joint sponsor. Don't worry about it. The joint sponsor is going to have to fill out a I-134 and sign it and date it. The joint sponsor is going to have to provide the last 2 years worth of tax returns with tax transcripts and W-2s. I would say 12 months worth of bank statements, and also get a letter from the joint sponsor's boss. Your joint sponsor is making sufficient income. Get a letter from the boss, get a letter of employment, and say, this is how much my joint sponsor makes, and get about 6 months worth of pay stubs. And then the sponsor does the same thing. So the sponsor and the joint sponsor provide all this financial information, and you put it in 2 separate folders Here's a folder for the sponsor. Here's a folder for the joint sponsor. All these financial documents are all separated so they don't get mixed up, so the tax returns are not mixed up. And you put them together and give it to your beneficiary for the K1 visa interview. You got it, Ahmed? You good? Do you understand what I just said, right? Lee Kirkula, good afternoon, Diego. It's still morning here in the Panhandle. In about 20 minutes, it will be afternoon. But good afternoon, Lee. We hope you're well. Karina, we just spotted her. We had the secret camera spotting Karina. She was out here on the patio feeding the outside cat. She was feeding the outside cat. Rambo's his name. He keeps the backyard clean of whatever. Little mices. Antonio Clark, to all that's listen. My man Diego knows his stuff. Hey, that's a Mountain Dew salute right there. Thank you again for helping me and my now wife. Antonio, success story. Excellent. We send you a Mountain Dew salute. We put pixie dust on your future life together in America. And thanks for the positivity. That's what I want to see. I can put a K1 visa package together in my sleep. I can put a green card application together in my sleep. I've been doing this for 10 years now, since 2014. Okay? 2014. So if you have any questions, like Lee's got a question right here. Look at this, straight off the bat. But hang on a second. Let me see. We got Antonio, and now we have Hannah. So USCIS will approve first the work permit. Yes, that's correct. And then the green card. That's correct. What do you think? With the IOE application, much quicker. It's much quicker with an IOE application because it's an electronic process. It's quicker than the service center like California or Texas. California don't process green cards. Okay? They do not process green cards in California. There's 4 places where the green cards get processed. Chicago, Illinois, Elgin, Illinois, Phoenix, Arizona, and Louisville, Texas. Dallas, Texas. Those are the 4 places where green card applications get adjudicated depending on where you live in the United States of America. I live in Florida, so Karina mailed her green card application via UPS to Chicago. But she had an IOE receipt on her green card application, and she got her green card in 3.5 months. IOE is a lot quicker. It's electronically processed, okay? But Hannah, it's important that you understand that California doesn't process green cards, okay? They do process and adjudicate K1 visas, but not green cards. Ahmed, thank you, Diego. Mountain Dew salute to Ahmed. Lee, Kirkula, what is the income for the family of 3? If you live in the United States of America, not in Hawaii, but in the 48 contiguous states, if you don't live in Hawaii or if you don't live in Alaska, the minimum income for a family of 3 is $32,275. This is the minimum. Okay, this is what. That's like. See that line to this door right here? You see the line to the door where the door jamb is? That's right on the line of minimum income. So if you are a family of 3 at 100, I said 125%, okay? That's 125% of the federal minimum guidelines once you get to America. In the United States, you apply for the green card, family of 3, that's the minimum income. How much money do you really need to make to avoid a joint sponsor? For a family of 3, if you want to really pass the test for the green card application, you want to make at least $36,000 a year. Even though the minimum is $32,275, you really want to be making $36,000 to $40,000. Because I'm seeing lots of people getting RFEs. We need a joint sponsor because you make $33,000 a year, which is above the minimum of $32,275, right? But immigration, they're getting strict on the income. All right. Ahmed Ashraf, if both options CR1 and K1 are available, you as Diego support which pathway? K1. CR1 is a spousal visa for somebody that's been married less than 2 years. If I went to Colombia and got married to Karina in Bogota, Karina would have come into the United States on a CR1 conditional residency spousal visa. But she would be still probably in Colombia waiting for her freaking green card. Okay? K1 visa is the best way to go. It's more expensive. It's more expensive, but the upside is you get to be with your beneficiary in the United States waiting for the green card. If you know, if I married Karina in Colombia, it would have taken maybe 2.5 years to get her green card. But she came into the United States on a K1, and she waited 3.5 months for her green card. But now it's a lead time of 6 to 9 months. But okay, we wouldn't worry about it if we were having to wait 9 months for her green card. We wouldn't worry about it. Because we are together in America. The United States government says, okay, you can come into America on the K1 visa. Then you get changed over to an I-94, which is a 90-day window of time to get married. You get married within 90 days. You're in status. Then you file for the green card about 2 months after you get married. It's going to take at least 2 months to put a green card package together. Okay? To put a green card package together takes about 2 months at a minimum. So Karina and I got married on January 14th, 2024. And Karina filed for her green card February 29th. So, was that about 5-6 weeks, something like that? But I know how to do this process. If you don't know how to do this, you got to slow down a little bit and take your time putting the package together so you don't make any mistakes when you file for the green card. You don't want to make a mistake in the paperwork because then you're going to get everything sent back to you. And then you're going to be waiting. You're going to be stuck at another 3 months while they fix what you messed up. Okay? So you got to pay attention to details. The biggest mistake people make is they make the check out they don't put the correct amount in the check, or they don't fill the check out properly to U.S. Department of Homeland Security, or they forget to sign the 865 the green card application paperwork, or the I-129F. The sponsor forgets to sign it. The sponsor's so excited that he's going to file for this K1 visa application. He can't wait to bring his beneficiary to America. That he gets all this paperwork and he puts it all together and he mails it off to Louisville, Texas. And he goes, oh man, I forgot to sign it. What's going to happen? Well, they're going to send it all back. And then they may stamp all over it. This is invalid, or they may not stamp on it. It depends. And then you got to resubmit it. Right? The green card application, lots of people hire immigration attorneys because they're scared of the government, or they're scared they don't know how to do this. Don't be scared. Number one, don't be scared of the government. The U.S. government works for us. Okay? We don't work for them. They work for us. Okay? Number one. So don't be scared of them. Just qualify for the benefit. If you don't qualify for the benefit, the U.S. government's going to say, I'm sorry, you don't qualify, and they're going to deny your K1 application. If you make a mistake filling out the paperwork, they're going to reject your K1 application. There's a difference between a rejection and a denial. A rejection means, oh, you messed up, refix it and resubmit. A denial means you're done. Okay? But what my advice to folks is this: if you get a K1 visa denial, let's suppose you go to your scary visa interview and you get denied at the embassy interview because of the consular officer is not completely confident in your application, but you guys know you love each other and you want to be together. You want to be together, but your K1 visa gets denied at the embassy. My recommendation is for your sponsor to fly to that country, have a wedding, get married, and then file for the spousal visa, and then put an explanation in the spousal visa that you filed for the K1, it got denied, but because the consular officer wasn't confident with the paperwork, but you are in a real relationship, you add more evidence of your relationship, and then you'll get your spousal visa done. And 99% of the time, they get approved. So don't have a panic attack if you get a denial at the embassy interview on a K1, although 85% of all K1 visas as of October of 2024 are getting approved. 15% are getting denied at the embassy level. Let me see. Ahmed, how many visits to beneficiary for K1 are sufficient to prove a genuine relationship from your point of view? In my point of view, 2. But you got to stay at least a month per visit. Okay? 2. I went to Colombia 5 times. Let me explain to you what I did. Now, I'm not saying you have to copy what I did in regards to trips, but this is what I did. First, I met Karina online, and we chatted for about, 4 months. We chatted online for 4 months. And when I decided I wanted to come visit Karina, I wanted to meet her in person because I was really liking her, you know. She's a good person. She had a good heart. She was a very kind-hearted person. I wanted to meet her. I went to see her. I went for a 2-week vacation. But when I got to Colombia in Bogota, I had registered a hotel for 2 weeks or 17 days, excuse me. But I didn't want to leave Karina. When we met each other at the airport in El Dorado, we were like connected immediately. It was like an immediate connection. You know, it was amazing. So instead of spending 2 weeks in Colombia, I spent 5 weeks. I called my boss in Florida. I said, hey, I want to be in Colombia for 5 weeks. And instead of buying more time at a hotel, I just helped Karina move from a small apartment to a big apartment. So we moved her from a small apartment to a big apartment in Bogota. So there's room for me. Okay. And I stayed 5 weeks. And I kept the hotel receipts. I kept the plane tickets, the boarding passes. I took pictures of the Colombian tourist visa stamps in my passport. Then I came back to the United States, and then I didn't want to be separated from her. So I went back to Colombia again, and I'd already burned up 5 weeks of my tourist visa. So I used up the rest of I went back and got another 3-month tourist visa. And then the time that I had on top of that was left over, I used that up too. So I went back for 5 months. Then I came back to the United States, and then I said to myself, you know, how can I live with Karina in Colombia waiting for this freaking K1 visa to get processed? There's got to be a way. And then I found out I was eligible for a 1-year retirement visa in Colombia. I was eligible for it. So I applied for it, and I was given a 1-year retirement visa, cedula. So I went back to Colombia for a 3rd time. This is my 3rd visit, and I stayed for 10 months. Okay, I just stayed in Colombia. I stayed there for 10 months. When my 1-year visa was getting close to expiring, I didn't renew it. I just said, no, I'm not going to renew it. I'm not a permanent resident of Colombia. I'm a permanent resident of Florida. So I came back to the United States, and then it was just about another 2 months or so, 3 months. Then it was at 10 months. I had to wait by myself here in Florida. It was 10 months. And then Karina got her K1 visa approved, and I paid the visa fee and scheduled the interview. And then I flew back to Colombia 1 year ago today. 1 year ago today, I was on a plane flying to Bogota for my final trip to Colombia. This would have been my 5th trip, because on my 4th trip to Colombia, I flew back to the United States. I had to process my income taxes. I didn't want to do it from Colombia. I had to pay the tax on the freaking house. Then I went back to Colombia for my 5th visit, and that was my last trip. And then I brought Karina to America. So 5 times is how many trips I made, and I had put all those boarding passes in the green card application. Okay, so there was 5 trips and 5 different sets of photos with different dates, different places. So Ahmed, my advice is a minimum of 2 times to go visit your beneficiary and stay at least a month each time. So that gives you time to get to know your future bride. You want to get to know her. Let's see here. Lee, no problem, Lee. Josias, Diego, how are you doing? Josias from Argentina. What's going on, Josias? You're in Utah, right? We hope you're well. We hope you're hanging in there, Osiris, with your green card application. Sylvan Spector. Hi, Diego. My wife and daughter just arrived in the United States on their K1 and K2. Mount Dew salute. Fantastic, Sylvan. Excellent. We're happy for you. How long do you recommend we wait before getting married? 2 weeks. And how long before filing for the adjustment of status? You get married within the next 2 weeks, and then 2 months after you get married, you start building evidence of your relationship, living together and being married and cohabitating together and commingling dollars. You gotta put your wife on your bank account as a joint account holder. And then you got to wait a month and then wait a second month and wait for those bank statements to come in with her name on it and your name on it. So she's a joint account holder or payable on death even. You can do that, okay? POD. And then you want to put her on the electric bill, the water bill, the gas bill, the deed to the house, the lease agreement to the house you rent or apartment. Get her on the title to your car, your motorcycle, RV. You got to put all this evidence together of a cohabitation, commingling of funds, and living together and happy. Lots of pictures of your wedding, lots of pictures. Go on a honeymoon, take a weekend somewhere as a honeymoon. Get pictures of the honeymoon with different people. Get lots of pictures in the wedding. So the process that I recommend is come to America on the K1. You get married within 2 weeks, put together a green card application over the next 2 months, and then file for it. And if you listen to my advice and do what I say right here, you're going to get a successful application, as long as you don't mess up the paperwork. Let me see. Sylvan, do you recommend filing for a work permit before filing for adjustment of status? Number one, you cannot file for a work permit before the adjustment of status. You have to include the work permit with the adjustment of status. So here's the paperwork for the work permit, and here's the paperwork for the adjustment of status. You combine them together in the application, and you don't send them separately. If you think it's going to take a long time to get a green card, if you think it's going to take 9 months and you need to, and your beneficiary absolutely has to go to work, you got to put your beneficiary to work. Financially, you got to have a 2-income family. If that's the case, apply for the work permit and the green card, but you do it at the same time. Okay? You do it at the same time. You don't separate it. The only time you would send a separate work permit application is if you forgot to include the paperwork in the green card application. So you pay for the green card, you pay for the biometrics, and you pay for the work permit, and you put it in the green card application, but you forget the paperwork for the work permit. Then you can file a separate application for the work permit and prove that you paid for the green card and the work permit. You got to prove that you already paid for it. That would be the only time you do a separate application. Okay, but the way to do it is you file for the green card and the work permit together, and you write one check out to immigration, to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. You make out the check to these people right here, U.S. This is who you make out the check to. If you make any error, if you abbreviate this, your whole package will be sent back to you. So you can't abbreviate this. This is what you got to do. All right. If I can spell, I don't have my glasses on. This is how you make out the check. U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Okay. Let me make a capital S on the security. That's who you make out the check to. No abbreviations. No USDEPT/HOME/SEC. It's not going to work. You got to submit and then you're going to pay $1,440. Okay, that's how much it costs for the green card and the biometrics. It's included in the price. The biometrics and the green card application is $1,440 as of October 31st, 2024. That can change in the future. And then the work permit is $260. So you add those two numbers together and you fill out a check or a cashier's check and submit it to the place you're supposed to mail your green card application to. There's one of four places: Chicago, Elgin, Illinois, Phoenix, Arizona, or Louisville, Texas. If you live in Texas, everybody sends their green card application to the same address where you mailed for your K-1 visa in Louisville. Okay? Use FedEx, UPS, or DHL. Don't mail it in the postal system. Let me see here. Let me see. Hosias. Sylvan, you meant to say my fiance. Okay, I understand. Your fiance and daughter just arrived in the United States. That's correct. I understood you were talking fiance, okay? Because you're not married yet. Hosias, I just sent the adjustment of status. 405 pages of pure documents. Mountain Dew salute to Hosias. Now, Hosias, I remember I was helping you from Argentina. I walked you step by step through the maze, right? I pulled you over the finish line, and here you are now filing for your green card. Hannah, can you answer, please, my question above, Diego, regarding the address of the National Benefit Center at the receipt notice? Well, I don't have the address right here with me for the National Benefit Center, the NBC Center. But if you're under an IOE and it goes to the NBC, the National Benefit Center, it's no big deal. You're good. It's nothing to stress about. Okay? Nothing to worry about. I don't have the address with me, but you don't have to worry. You're in process. You're in process. Okay? IOE receipt number. Karina had the same thing for her. IOE receipt number. It's all she got done in 3.5 months. Receipt notices. You should get a hard copy of your approved green card application. Ahmed, it was a long journey, but God is great. Now you are together. Yeah, it's a long journey, this process. Not anybody can marry a foreign national. You got to qualify. It's a very strict process. Okay. The U.S. government doesn't want to separate families. They don't. But they want to make sure that the beneficiary coming from the foreign country doesn't have any communicable diseases and isn't going to become a burden on the U.S. taxpayer. Although I don't know about the current administration, that's all out the window. They couldn't care less about the U.S. taxpayers. Right now, they're just letting anybody in across the freaking border in Mexico. But, that's the consequences of elections, right? You're doing it the right way. You're spending all this money. You're doing it the right way. You're doing the medical exam. You're getting your police certificate. You're doing everything what you're supposed to do. Right? You're doing everything you're supposed to do. You didn't sneak in. You don't have your hand out trying to get something from the taxpayer. The American citizen is 100% going to take care of you. That's how you qualify partly for the benefit. Let me see here. Bahu. Hi, Diego. Hope you are well. We're good. Thank you. I hope you're well too. Let me see here. My wife received her green card. Now, how long does it take to get citizenship? Okay. Bahu, congratulations on your wife getting her green card. That's a Mountain Dew salute. I'm very happy to hear that. Karina is probably watching back now in the bedroom, and she's happy to hear that. How long does it take to get U.S. citizenship? Number one, you got to start putting together evidence for your 10-year green card. You got to start collecting evidence for the 10-year green card. Step number one is lift the conditions off the 2-year green card and apply for the 10-year green card 3 months before the 2-year green card expires. So now what you're going to do is you're going to get your green card. Your wife's going to get her green card, and she's going to look for the issue date and the termination date, the expiration date, the issue date and the expiration date. The issue date is when the clock starts for when you can apply for U.S. citizenship on the 2-year green card. So you want to become a U.S. citizen. I strongly recommend it. So you don't have to worry about immigration anymore. But you look at the issue date on the 2-year green card, and 3 years from the issue date, you can apply for U.S. citizenship. So Karina's issue date on her green card is June 2024. So 2025, 2026, 2027. So in June of 2027 or May, she'll probably apply in May, she can apply for U.S. citizenship. But what you need to do now, if you have your 2-year green card, is start collecting evidence for the 10-year green card. That's your goal right now. Your goal right now is to start preparing for your 10-year green card. Because remember, the 2-year green card does not get renewed. It terminates. The 2-year green card doesn't get renewed. There's no such thing as a renewable 2-year green card. It terminates at the expiration date. The way you fix that is you lift the conditions off that 2-year green card and apply for the 10-year green card. Then if you decide not to become an American citizen, every 10 years you have to renew your 10-year green card. So you renew a 10-year green card, you lift the conditions off of a 2-year green card. You got it? It's 3 years from the issue date on the 2-year green card to when you can apply for U.S. citizenship using Form N-400, and you do it online. You got it? Let me see. Ahmed, does tourist visa refusal under 221 be affected K-1 visa application? No, it's got nothing, no bearing at all. Whoop, look at all my hats are going to fall down. A tourist visa, if you get a denial on a tourist visa, okay, it just means that the consular officer isn't 100% confident that you're going to not come back, okay, to your home country. That's in their mind. I mean, that's probably not what's happening, but that's what's in their mind, okay? But if you get a B2 visa denied, it's not going to affect a K-1 visa. A K-1 visa is a one-way trip to the United States of America on a K-1. And you have a U.S. citizen, American sponsor, who's going to financially take care of you until you get a job. And then you're going to work together as a husband and wife. So a K-1 visa basically says you come to America one way and you're going to live and stay here. A tourist visa says you have to go back to where you started. So if you're in, I don't know, let's suppose, I don't want to pick on a country, but let's suppose you're in country A and you want to get a tourist visa to come to America, and the consular officer says, no, I'm sorry, we're going to deny it. It's not a bad thing on your record, on your visa record. It's not a mark of negativity. Okay, you can still get approved for a K-1 visa, because a K-1 visa and a tourist visa, they're two separate. It's apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. K-1 visa is apples. Tourist visa is oranges. So don't worry. If you got denied a tourist visa in the past, it's going to be in the immigration record at the embassy, but the immigration officer is not going to use it against you. Okay, so don't worry about it. Flower photo and videography. Hi Diego, I am from Ethiopia. Oh, beautiful! A Mountain Dew salute to our friends in Ethiopia. K-1 beneficiary. I can't wait to come to the USA. We want you to come here also and meet my fiance and son. Please tell me the waiting time. Well, when did your American citizen sponsor apply for your K-1 visa? Has he filed, or she? I don't know. Do you have an NOA-1 letter? Has a K-1 visa been filed in your benefit? Has an immigration sent an NOA-1 letter? Where are you at in the process? I can't wait to come to the USA and meet my fiance and son. Well, you won't. Here's the thing. Your fiance needs to come to Ethiopia and spend time with you. You got to be together, because you won't get a K-1 visa if you haven't yet met your U.S. citizen sponsor. You got to meet each other face to face. You got to be together. You got to know each other. You got to spend time together. You got to be in a relationship with each other. Okay? You said you can't wait to come to the USA and meet your fiance. Well, and a son. Well, you're supposed to already have met each other and fell in love and had an engagement ceremony of some kind, and you're going to process for a fiance visa. So I don't know how long it will take, because I don't know where you are in the process. Sylvan, thanks for all the info, Diego. No problem. I know we have to get married within 90 days. Number one priority. But do we have to apply for the adjustment of status within 90 days also? No, you don't, Sylvan. The cutoff is 6 months. Okay? You come to America on a K-1, you get married within 90 days. You have to apply for the green card application at a minimum no later than 6 months after the arrival date in America. The I-94 commencement date, 6 months from there, is the maximum time you should wait, unless you got a big story why you haven't filed for the green card yet. Josias, Diego, what kind of evidence do we need to collect for the 10-year green card? Because I will keep collecting a lot of evidence. I like bank statements, pics, please, pictures, lease apartment, bills, etc. Those are good, yes. Now listen, when you file for the green card, for the 10-year green card, one of the most important documents you got to include in there, besides, you don't have to include the I-94 anymore. You have to include the I-94 for the 2-year green card, but you don't have to include it for the 10-year green card. You don't, and American citizens don't have to provide a police report. Okay, there's no police certificate on Americans required. But you got to have a joint bank account started. So you get to America, you get a social security number, you get on the bank, you become a joint bank account holders, You get your first bank statement, which shows that you are both on the same bank account. Bank account statements have to be collected from that day. So you're going to want to submit at least 20 bank statements showing 20 months of being together, 21 months of being together. Okay? Because you apply for the 10-year green card 3 months before your 2-year green card expires, within that window of time. But the immigration is going to be looking for that first bank account, joint account holder. Are you joint bank account holders? If so, when did you become joint bank account holders? Well, right after we got her social security number, or his social security number. Karina became a joint bank account holder with my bank. Now it's our bank. Okay, as soon as she got her social security number. Okay, so she's been in America, about 2 weeks, and she's already on my bank, now our bank. Okay, that bank account, that printout, that bank statement that she got, the first one, that shows her name and my name together as joint owners of that account, will go in her 10-year green card application. Immigration is going to say, oh, okay, they got married, and 2 weeks later or a week later, she's on his bank account. That's what they're looking for. But don't do this. Let's suppose you're lazy, you forget, and then, I got to file for my 10-year green card. And you go to the bank and you become joint bank account holders a week before you file for the 10-year green card, or a month before. And then the bank statement comes in as joint bank account holders a month before you file for the 10-year green card. Immigration is going to go, what the heck? Why are they just getting joint bank account holders now? It's a red flag. They're going to investigate. You got it? So what stuff do you need for the 10-year green card? Keep collecting bank statements. Keep collecting service receipts from the water bill, the electric bill, the trash bill. Keep all those bills as they come in. Put them in a folder. Today's what? I don't even know what day it is. Thursday. On Saturday, when I do a live stream with Karina, I will bring our 10-year green card package into the live stream so you can see what we have done so far. Okay. Let me see. Sylvan, after Karina entered the U.S., did she receive in the mail any of your old paperwork from the K-1? No, it's gone away. Gone away. The U.S. Embassy will scan whatever they need and upload it into their server and destroy the paperwork they don't need. It will go through a burn bag. It goes in a burn bag. It gets treated like top secret paperwork. In the Navy, we had burn bags. You don't want people to read it, we put it in a burn bag and it gets pumped in an oven. Okay? You don't get any paperwork returned to you from the embassy or immigration once you're done with it. Once you check in, you're done. It's gone. So never send original documents. When you apply for a K-1 visa, don't send your original birth certificate because you might not get it back, Mr. American citizen. Hosea, Sylvan it is not mandatory to apply within 90 days. No, that's correct. If you marry a U.S. citizen, you can apply even after the I-94 expires. That's correct. And you will still be good. That's correct. Hosea, you're top of the class today. But you do want to apply for your green card within at least 6 months of getting married. Hosea, if you go after the I-94 expires, just be careful and try to apply as soon as you can, because you don't want to wait months and months and months and months, because you could have problems with immigration if you wait a lot. That's true. You learned a lot, Hosea, on this channel. Hosea is from Argentina, and I'm going to give the president of Argentina a Mountain Dew salute. I love that guy. He saved your country, Hosea. He saved your country from destruction, from turning into Venezuela. Pink Rose, hi Diego, what's the processing time for a green card? 6 to 9 months after the biometrics. I've been waiting for 8 months. Okay, Pink Rose, so in the next month or two, you'll get it. Let's put pixie dust all over your application. Boo, 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 boo. There you go. So let's say you're going to get it by December at the latest. Okay, Pink Rose? Okay, relax. Sylvan, at what point do you recommend my fiance apply for a social security number? Can she apply before we get married? Yes, it depends. What state do you live in? There are 12 states in America, okay? In the United States, there are 12 states where you have to have a social security number before you can get married. So if you live in one of those states, you got to get a social security number first, and then you take your social security number and apply for the marriage license. So if you live in one of those 12 states, you have to get your social security number first to get the marriage license. If you don't live in any of those 12 states, like Florida, then you can go and get off the plane, print the I-94, and run down to the Social Security office and apply for the social security number right away. That's what we did. I took Karina down to the Social Security Administration, and we got her Social Security card off of the I-94. Okay? But when she got her green card, we went back down to the Social Security office and we updated her status from I-94 status to legal permanent resident. So she got a second Social Security card in the mail. The number didn't change, but it came in with her married name on it, and all that verbiage went away where Homeland Security says you can't work without their permission. So my recommendation, Sylvan, is to apply for the Social Security number as soon as you get the I-94, and then go back down there and reapply, and then change the status to legal permanent residence once she gets the green card. Hosea, Diego, I became a joint bank account holder after 2 months of my Social Security number and after 1.5 months of getting married. Is that okay? Yeah, that's perfectly fine. By the time I would apply for the 2-year green card, I would have more. You're good. More than 20 bank statements. And also I would be like 2 years joint account holder. That's what immigration is looking for. If you apply for a 10-year green card and you've only been a joint bank account holder with your U.S. citizen sponsor for like 6 weeks, immigration is probably going to make you do a face-to-face interview and ask you, why did you wait so long to become joint bank account holders? Why did you wait so long to commingle money? Because they want to see a relationship of a man and wife commingling funds, which means the beneficiary's name is on the lease to the apartment or the deed to the house, the title to the car is on all the service bills like the water, trash, electric, etc. And as those bills come in, okay, you keep them, you save them, and you put them in the 10-year green card application. So when Karina applies for her 10-year green card, we're going to have like 20 water bills in there, 20 months worth of water bills with her name on it and my name on it and the address where we live. The trash bill, there's going to be 20 of them at least with her name on it, my name on it, and our address. And you highlight, and I highlight the date of the bill. So immigration can can see the timeline of you guys living together. There's lots of people that use this green card process as a fraud. Okay, they come to America, they get married, they get their green card, and then poof, they're gone. It happens sometimes. So immigration, the U.S. government put in place a process where you have to prove your relationship is real for the next 2 years to get your 10-year green card. Okay? That's what, to protect the American citizen and also to protect the beneficiary from the foreign country too. Josias, Diego, that is great. Now I will be waiting for USCIS to contact me. What way do they use to contact you? You're going to get a letter in the mail. You included the G1145, so you're going to get a text message to your cell phone with the IOE number or the receipt number to your green card application. Josias, you're going to get a letter in the mail, an I-797 that says your green card has been approved. But have you done your biometric? You've already done your biometric. No, you're going to get first the biometrics. Okay. So I've been talking for an hour, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm going to give everybody a Mountain Dew salute, and I'll be back on Saturday with Karina. I hope I answered all your questions. Lots of pixie dust for everybody's green card and K1 visa applications. And Josias gets the last word. I have not done my biometrics, probably in the next few weeks. What's going to happen? You haven't done your biometrics because they haven't cashed your check yet. What you're going to do is you're going to get a letter, Josias, to go to your biometrics. They're going to give you the location, the date, and the time of your biometrics. You've already paid for it in your green card application. You go to the biometrics. They take your fingerprints, get your photo, and they're going to have you sign your full name. So they got your signature on file. And then you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you're going to get it. You all qualified for the benefit. You're going to get your green cards. You're going to get your K1 visas. It's just a time. The planet's going to go around in circles around the sun, and you just got to wait for the time to go by, and then boom, it's all completed. And then you focus on your 10-year green card, and you focus on your U.S. citizenship, and then we're good to go. Thank you, Diego. Have a great day. Big hugs, and we will send you big hugs back, and we'll see you on Saturday.